Ooh, oh, man. Ah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is LPOV, and welcome back to another week of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4 Diamond is Unbreakable. We are in episode 24, and wow. Excuse me if this overview looks more like a fanboy video instead of an actual overview this week, but holy crap. Um, oh wow, this episode was just great. Okay, oof. So, just to try and summarize and get my overview just straight up done with, let's get started with this overview, okay? The episode starts off where we last saw Kira, Yoshikaya Kira, and that is by that bar, not bar, by that little restaurant having some coffee, and him just being affected by Echo's Act 3 Freeze's attack. Basically, his hand is just straight up falling to the ground, and as I mentioned last week, that and that was more of like something I guess that I remembered from the manga, which is why I recall it. But the fact that he's just drawing so much attention to himself just pisses him off, and him just going through that alley, him just dragging his hand around because he weighs so much, and being really upset like that this is happening. These two guys jump up on him, they start mocking him, they start saying how much they hate rich guys like him. They act like little assholes towards him, and of course Kira, being he who he is, he straight up just destroys them with Killer Queen. We do find out that basically Echo's Act 3, his its range for its attack freeze, the one where the gravitational pull towards the Earth, it apparently has a certain range that it's not if Koichi stands farther away from the enemy that the power loosens. It's more of that if he escapes a certain zone, then like the power like it just nullifies the attack completely. However, if he is in the zone, the power is active, and he gets closer to the enemy, then the enemy will feel the gravitational pull even harder, which is an interesting idea and a little bit of a different take on what the obvious this option would be, which is the obvious choice would have been, and that is to have made the attack just weaker as he got further away. Um, Regardless, Kira straight up shows up. He is like, holy crap! They're doing such an amazing job with this with this villain, like the way they're demonstrating him, his voice acting and everything, and just his interaction, the way he's talking to Koichi, him just straight up being like, man, I think they're going to build a gym sometime around this area, somewhere around this area sometime soon. I mean, I'm thinking about getting the membership, and he's just like talking all this crap like to Koichi as he's walking towards him and being pulled down by his hand due to Echo's Act 3 freeze. And he's like, yeah, like, because I really need to build up my stamina, because the moment I realized that my stamina wasn't as good is when I tried crossing the street, and I had a lot of issues just pulling my hand over, and like Koichi's like realizing like, holy crap, this is the guy, this is the murderer, and he gets angry like, you're the guy who did all of these murders these past years. Oh my god. And it comes to the point where basically just Koichi has to step out, and Yoshikaya Kira is able to withdraw sheer heart attack, and he shoots it out again because again the attack is nullified. So Echoes has to again redo the attack, and at this time, however, sheer heart attack is coming towards them, and at the same time, Kira straight up took his stand out, Killer Queen, and is going after Koichi. So Echoes tells him like, you have to pick one. I can't use my attack on both of them. Koichi obviously picks friggin' sheer heart attack, which is the self detonating bomb, and that gives Kira the opportunity to friggin' attack Koichi with Killer Queen. And he just talking mad shit. Oh my god. him just like, if you were not sure about how much of a scumbag this guy is in the JoJo series, just like this episode definitely made it clear for you guys, because him just taking his like him just stepping on Koishi's hand, Koichi about to scream, and then sticking his fucking shoe in Koichi's mouth and tell him like, "Don't go screaming now." Um, wow, and oh my god, and he's just talking so much shit. He like gives him a tissue, tells him like, "Yo, like clean yourself up," basically, and Koichi like somehow manages to get a hold of his wallet, and he starts laughing. He's like, "I know who you are now," and he sells his name, his address, and he's straight up provoking Kira, making him angry, telling him um, like Kira's like, so what, you know my address, so what, you know my name, so what, you know my face, like you're gonna be dead in a minute anyway. And Koichi tells him like, but doesn't that make you like angry that just a kid like me was able to find out your address? You're a nobody. And he just talking so much crap towards Kira. And then we get it, like Kira just loses his temper. He straight up punches a hole through Koichi, and as Koichi's basically dead, and just to give you more of an idea of how fucked up this guy is in the head, he notices like Koichi's sock was put one of his socks was he placed it inside out on his foot, and he's like, man, doesn't that bother him that the sock is like that? And as he's planning to attack him, he's like, you know what, that bothers me a lot. I'm going to change it. And he like straight up takes the sock out and puts it back on. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. Regardless, Kira prepares for the final attack. The touch bomb power that Killer Queen has. Killer Queen, of course, he does the pose, and like I lose my shit because like just when the JoJo's do the characters do their poses, respectively, like in the manga, that's always a fanboy moment. And Kira notices a shadow behind him, and that's straight up Jotaro, and Jotaro is pissed off. He tells Koichi like, yeah, like you matured, you're pretty you beat Kira mentally, um, and he deals one blow with Star Platinum. Killer Queen is able to block it. Kira says like, you know what, like I'm surprised that you're still alive after that explosion. But yeah, your attack, I could tell your Star Platinum is weakened. Like you ain't nothing. And Jotaro is just talking trash about his watch. He's telling him how he's gonna break his face, and then goes all out with the attack. And one thing that's worth noting is that Jotaro is not the type of a guy who just does things heroically, but he gets pissed off when he sees an asshole. And if he was awake during the situation, the conversation between Kira and Koichi, just my reaction towards what Kira was doing should be enough to portray how much of an asshole this guy is, and how bad Jotaro must have wanted to beat him. So yeah, he gives them a bunch of blows. By the same time, like Okuyasu and Josuke, they're running towards Koichi, because of course in last episode you guys obviously saw that Koichi gave Josuke a call about the situation, and everyone's passed out. Like Kira is beaten from Star Platinum's beating. Jotaro is weakened through the explosion. Koichi has a freaking hole through his body. And Josuke is thinking about who should I say first, what should I do first. He goes for Koichi, he goes to Jotaro, and Kira at the same time is thinking like, they don't know who I am. I'm gonna play dumb and be like, oh my god, there was an explosion. He plays the victim like he was just a random bystander in the explosion, so that he could get healed first and just fuck off. And then like this is the like that clever Josuke part is like, Kira tells him like, please, I have a broken rib, can you save me? And Josuke's like, why would I be able to save you? I'm just a freaking teenager. Do I look like an experienced medic? How would I know how to do that? If you're acting like this, I'm sure you must have seen my stand, which means you're the enemy. And like Kira chops off his hand with Killer Queen. Friggin' sheer heart attack launches at Josuke and Jotaro. Um, and my god, like Josuke's thinking just exceptionally well done here. He says, you know what, this attack, like, because Jotaro tells him, like, sheer heart attack can't be broken, like, you're not gonna land a scratch, and Josuke's like, whatever, like, he chopped his hand off, and as he's running away, we're gonna follow and pursue him because he punched sheer heart attack, and with Crazy Diamond's ability of bringing everything back to its regular state, sheer heart attack goes back to the hand goes flying towards Kira's body, and they go in the pursuit, which leads them to Aya's Cinderella parlor. And we find out that apparently Kira straight up just grabbed some random dude from the street, made Aya switch faces between Kira and a random guy, and Kira is now on the loose. He has a new face. He won't easily be found now. And this is the only part of the, well, not the only part, but one of the only storyline elements that bothered me about this episode, and that is the fact that why did Aya, like, help him if she was going to die regardless? Because she freaking, like, Kira, of course, uses her as a bomb, so when Josuke and Okuyasu come out running after him, like, then they wouldn't get any information out of him. Because Aya was about to say the guy's name. And like, why did I help her? I don't understand. She was gonna die regardless. I'm guessing, but still, like, how about the mentality of, like, if I lose, you lose too. So yeah, that was the only problem that I really had with this episode. One of the only problems. The second one would be, and I will use this to transition to the three things that I talk about in every episode, which is animation, pacing, and balance to the overall plot. The second issue that I had was the animation. The animation was, in my opinion, about 70% on point. The shots that were important were really well done, exceptionally still great for the animation, but there were just a lot of tick lining, a lot of blurry. I was not really blurry, but like unprecise animation that I wasn't too crazy about, and some of them I will say even look like they were straight up manga panels that they animated to make like the mouse flap and just slowly move upwards or downwards. So the animation was the only thing that I kind of had an issue with, but it didn't take away from the overall impact of the episode regardless. Now, pacing, a lot went down, as you could tell. Like, I've been talking about like 12, 13 minutes straight, because a lot, and I was hurrying up because like a lot happened, a lot was going on, but it didn't take away from the episode in itself. It was all that happened had to happen within this time span. It should not have been dragged out. It was well placed. Now, the value to the overall plot, we find out a little bit more about Echo's Act 3's attack and its range, of course. And we are now left with the conclusion that Yoshikage Kira has switched faces with someone. So now the Morio Crusaders, as I would say, have to go in search for this new Kira. And that's going to be part of the new plot line, which is not really a spoiler, but it's just going to be, of course, part of the new arc, which is finding where Yoshikage Kira is. And in the meantime, we're going to get some very interesting little encounters, one which I'm really looking forward to, a couple actually. This part has some really good ones. But yeah, Yoshikage Kira is basically a stray cat right now, looking for a place to stay with his new face. Regardless, my name is POV. This episode was off the top, like, wow, just fanboying like crazy. Tell me what you guys thought about this. Did you enjoy this episode? What did you enjoy about the episode? Were you okay with the animation? Were you okay with the pacing? What do you think of Killer Queen? And just Yoshikage Kira himself as a villain. do you like him more than Cars, Wamu, ACDC, Dio? Like, just tell me, because I know that this villain ranks up there with the top dogs, top most popular JoJo villains in all the parts. So I just want to know from you guys, because my personal favorite will have to be the classical Dio, of course, but Funny Valentine and Yoshikaya Kira come both in second place next to each other because I cannot pick between the two. Regardless, have a good week. My name is POV, and good night.